Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're looking at one of the greatest crossovers ever made, Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Based on the 6 miniseries comic book, Batman, Robin, and Batgirl team up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to save Gotham City from the Shredder and Ra's al Ghul. Yes. Actually, it's Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, wait, was that how it's pronounced? It's not pronounced how it's spelled, honestly.
Ra's al Ghul.
Right. And this one, I'm looking forward to this for so long. You had shown me some comic book covers, and I thought at first they were fan-made, because I've seen a lot of those. I didn't know they were actually official until way later. And then it comes around early summer of this year, and they have announced they were going to do an animated movie, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, they're actually going to do the team up!
And the great thing is, this is DC's animated saving grace as far as movies. The last few movies have not been that great for the past few years, but this one has redeemed them entirely. This is one of the best DC animated movies of all time.
Yes, it is. And not saying that they haven't had any good animated movies. They've had some plenty in the past. And when they were first doing the animated movies, they had some really good ones.
This is like they've gone back to what made DC animation great.
Right.
They've found what they were looking for, and what they were looking for is back in the past.
Right.
Going back to the standout movies they made before.
Right.
This is just
right. And just watching the movie the whole time is only 84 minutes. You just barely make it to the 90-minute mark, but every second is gold. Absolutely. Every second you're engaged, from the time that the movie starts, even through the end credits and a post-credit scene, which probably means they're gonna do a sequel. I really hope so. It's just completely awesome, and it doesn't even waste any time starting up or building up to the team up. I mean, they're instantly in Gotham.
We all know who Batman is and his backstory. We all know who the Ninja Turtles are and their backstory. So why waste time on doing that? Just get to the meat, and they did.
Right. And especially when there's a confusion, like when Batman sees there's these scenes walking around, it's like, wait a minute, these aren't the villains that he's been fighting. Like, why are they ninjas? But then it says reptiles. And then they said they're teenagers and stuff. He's like, what are these things? And then they hear Legend of Batman. They're thinking he's a giant mutant bat. So there's a bit of misconnection there between there. So both lores are kind of meeting each other. And it's great. It's like, now I think unless this is just for the movie, this kind of means that the Ninja Turtles in the same universe as DC, as Batman.
Yes, I would think so.
Right,
yeah,
because with that, unless it's some alternate timeline or something.
Well, we didn't see a crossover from some other universe. We didn't see them come through some time portal.
Right.
Or Stargate or anything. So no,
they literally say they go from New York to Gotham. Right. So, yeah, I consider that to be the same thing. And Richard, the Avenger, has informed me that, they haven't bought out Ninja Turtles or vice versa. They still are owned by the respective companies, so they just decided to collaborate to this.
Yay, excellent. This was a great surprise. And what was really great about this movie is, yes, we're going to get to the voice actors, but I really have to say, this version, or this particular movie, I should say, kept the characters true to whom they were. And I love the Ninja Turtle version they chose, because there's a little of everyone of each of the versions, the 80s, 90s, 2000s.
Right.
You can see it's
all blended.
Exactly. And they're perfect because you see a little of each one that everyone loves.
Right. And it's never too much of one or the other, or they're out of character for either side. Batman and Bat Family aren't out of character, and the Turtles aren't out of character. They're just being themselves, and it's them either fighting, them working together.
And it was a great choice of the Robin to having him being Damian, because, of course, he's the youngest, he's the closest to their age, and that was just a perfect cast of Robin. And I really love that in this version, Damian's a little more like a regular teen. You know his backstory. You know the hard time he had, and the dying and the being revived in the Lazarus pit and all these different things that have happened to Damian in different versions. I like this version of him. He still has that edge. You still know he's Batman's kid. You still know he's the junior detective and all of this, but he's having fun with the turtles, and we actually hear him several times call Batman Dad.
Right.
Which I've been waiting for. So this movie, that helped to make this movie perfection.
Right. And like I said, there's also a lot of action. They have multiple action scenes throughout, but it's not like constant, non-stop. Mm-hmm. They do have times where they take a break and there's characters talking, or they fight, or you have the scenes of them fighting the Batcave, and it's like, how do they get in here? It's like, it's the sewer. Of course we know how to get through here. And the interactions are great. The humor is really great. And even when they have, like, the other Rogues Gallery from Batman, and then you have the Shredder working with Ra's al Ghul, and they want to create this, like, ultimate serum, like, they're mutants that live forever. I'm like, oh, you're playing with fire there. And it's, like, the best team-up they could have thought of, because they're both pretty similar.
Right.
So I do like that concept they had, and they really brought that out. And there's also times that you thought they were going to fight each other, but I guess they're so busy working on that goal.
Right. Okay, so now let's go to the voice cast like you want to.
Yes. We have Troy Baker as Batman and Joker.
Double duty.
Mm-hmm. Eric Bauza as Leonardo. Darren Criss as Raphael. Baron Vaughn as Donatello. Kyle Mooney as Michelangelo. Now, I don't think these are people from the regular... or any of the versions we've seen in the Turtles of any of the series that have come about.
No.
Which was interesting.
But, Troy Baker and Eric Bauza have been in some other DC animated movies.
Right.
Those are the only two that are really familiar to us in terms of DC casting.
Right. Then you have
Tom Kenny.
Yes, Tom Kenny as the Penguin, which they never change. They have Ben, who's that? Dro as Robin. Rachel Bloom was Batgirl. Almost thought that was Gwen Tennyson from Ben 10 at first. Brian George was Alfred Pennyworth.
John DiMaggio as Mr. Freeze and Penguin Thug.
Right. Tara Strong was Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy.
And an extra character.
Right. Kazuo Ozaki was Bane.
And Keith Ferguson
was Baxter Stockman and Two-Face.
And you had a couple others as well.
Yeah, Jim Meskimen and Andrew Kishino and Cass Anvar. And like all of them did really well in doing the voices. No one sounded out of place. They all fit well. Even if it wasn't the ones you're used to hearing in all the respective properties, they still did a great job of bringing the characters to life.
Absolutely. And we were thinking we were going to hear, of course, Mark Hamill, possibly Kevin Conroy, and so forth. But I have to say, for this version, Troy Baker did a spectacular job. He fit perfectly, and as you saw, all the voices together worked well for this particular movie. It was perfect casting.
Right.
And casting others we're usually used to probably would have changed the effect the movie had on us. It probably would have changed actually the movie itself, because we've grown used to these voice actors doing these particular characters. But of course, Tara Strong works perfectly as Harley Quinn, and was great to keep her in that role.
Right. And I'd like to mention that during the end credits, there's a post-credit scene after, but that may lead to a sequel. And there's during the credits, they have all of these covers, whether fan-made or official, that people made of the Turtles meeting Batman. And it's all these different versions. From the time it was like the first comic that Batman had, to different crossovers, to the Tales of the Turtles, to all these different comics and covers, whether fan-made or official. And it's really good they did that homage to their fans, for people who have been wanting a official crossover series or movie with them for a long time.
Absolutely. And we don't want to tell a lot, because if you haven't seen this, there'll be some spoilers. This is really new. So we're not going to get a lot into the plot and details. But I would like to say this is a wonderful, again, throwback to a more traditional Batman that we're used to. The one who's more brooding, more detective, more interested in training Robin. It just was a throwback to the Batman we're used to.
Right.
Where they weren't going in different directions with animation styles and different things like that.
Right. And if you have not seen this movie, like we said, it's pretty recent, both for digital or DVD release. Just came out in
May
June.
14th.
Yeah, it came out May for digital and June for
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray. So there's a chance you may not have seen this yet or purchased it. If you haven't seen it, please rent it or get it from Amazon or something. Yeah.
Redbox has it.
Right. Or buy it physically, because it is one of the greatest crossover superhero movies, live action or anime, that you will ever see.
Absolutely. Again, they went back to what made them stand out as doing superhero animation.
And that's a great thing that they didn't get overly violent. They did have a little bit of blood here and there and one or two swearings, but it wasn't like the others were as kind of vulgar or way too much violence for the movie. Yeah, it was very. There was a lot of action, but I think because it was also Nickelodeon and you still had the now kid-friendly Turtles, then they had to make sure they didn't go over the edge and make it to where younger audiences couldn't watch the movie, even with the extra stuff in it.
Now, if you've seen this movie, let us know what you think in the comments below. And let us know if this is the type of animation you want to see from DC again. That, again, this is a throwback to what made them masters at making animated movies, when they were just putting them out one after the other. And we were just buying everything because this is what we wanted. And then they had where they went off the path, and it's like, what the heck happened?
It just went...
But now they're back on course, and I am ecstatic. So if you've seen this, let us know what you think. And as Axel said, if you haven't, go out and rent and buy it and just be blown away by the preciseness of the perfection of the excellence of the magnificence of this movie.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mama Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
Cowabunga!
Flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Met her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky, my